Being a teenager is already hard enough as it is. I mean, we've all been there. Juggling school, home life, mental health, and if your Deadlock's graves, the restless spirits of the undead hounding you to solve all their unfinished business. Well, I guess anything's better than arguing with your parents these days. Grave brings so much more to the table than just a strong individual identity, personality, and background. She's a character who can summon an army of the undead to control the battlefield or overpower her enemies, all while siphoning away at their own strength. For those itching to know more about this young necromancer, here's everything you need to know about Graves.
Completing some Eldritch ritual beats finishing my paper on Wuthering Heights.
Being the daughter of two high-powered defense attorneys, Graves, formerly known as Darcy Graves, grew up in a home where simple conversations usually converted to non-stop debating, arguing, and negotiating. Where else could Graves go to block out the noise better than the cemetery, where the dead are forced to listen to your problems? Well, that was until one day, Graves heard a woman's voice which responded to her grievances.
Graveyards aren't quiet. They're loud. Sometimes it's overwhelming. But if you stop and listen, the dead can tell one hell of a story.
And one hell of a story was told, as it led Graves to a box buried in Van Cortlandt Park where she took a severed lick hand known as the Teacher. Just another day in the life of a teenager. With the lick eager for a student and Graves' inquisitiveness, she became Blackwell's Academy student during the day and teenage necromancer at night.
Can't help with the ritual. I gotta find the body of some old crone's lover that's buried in Woodlawn.
If you're looking for a character who excels in area effect damage, then Graves is the right pick for you. She currently specializes in summoning undead minions, zoning, and slowly weakening and draining the life from her enemies. As the game is still in development, there's a possibility that her abilities could change down the line. Now if that does happen, you can find them at the link in the description. But for right now, let's just take a look at her full current kit. Jar of the Dead is one of Graves' skills that has both a passive and active ability. Upon activating it, Grave throws a jar summoning floating deadheads that repeatedly deal spirit damage to nearby enemies. The deadheads follow Graves, and they prioritize whoever Graves is currently shooting. The ability is best used to apply sustained damage and control lanes and objectives. When leveling up this skill, it costs 1 AP to activate the ability's passive, restoring Graves' health by 5 when collecting death, 2 AP to make the deadhead attacks apply a slow status debuff, and 5 AP for Graves' summons to have additional deadheads, increasing their duration. Graves' second ability is Grasping Hands, which creates a line of undead hands across the ground, summoning a ghoul and leaving a rift behind. Any enemies who cross this said rift will take spirit damage, becoming immobilized. With the wall being rotatable, it's best either to trap and corner retreating enemies, separate opponents, or even protecting your own teammates. When leveling up this ability by 1 AP, you add 2 seconds to its duration. By 2 AP, it will increase its damage by 90 and 10 meters of wall length will be added. 5 AP will add 1 additional ghoul, reduce its cooldown by 14 seconds, and then add a 0.75 increase in the immobilization duration. Graves' primary attack deals close range beam damage with her lick hand. Now with Essence Theft as her passive combat ability, when she attacks an enemy with a weapon, she gradually steals weapon damage and experience resistance from them. In short, the longer Graves attacks an enemy, the weaker that enemy becomes while she only gets stronger. When leveling up this skill, 1 AP adds 5% max spirit resistance stolen, 2 AP adds 20% max weapon damage stolen, and 5 AP adds an additional target to steal from, and now all summons apply Essence Theft. Last but no in particular order is Borrowed Decree, Graves' ultimate. She erupts a gravestone at a chosen location that continuously summons ghouls who act as her undead legion. The ghouls shamble towards enemies and objectives, and they explode when they get into proximity, dealing area spirit damage and slowing down enemies. If you're looking for a heavy hitting ability that's guaranteed at least a kill or two, Borrowed Decree is going to be that ability. It's useful for disrupting and turning the tide of team fights and for conquering objectives. Not only do enemies have to worry about the presence of Graves, but also her teammates now paired with her undead army. Leveling up this ability by 1 AP increases its ghoul speed by 25% and shaves off 15 seconds from its cooldown. Leveling up with 2 AP increases its duration by 10 seconds and shaves off 0.3 seconds from its time to spawn. And with 5 AP, on death you deal plus 5% of current health as damage. As always, the meta is constantly changing in Deadlock, but if you're currently playing Graves in a normal game mode, it's best to fully upgrade Grasping Hand, then Essence Theft, followed by Borrowed Decree, and lastly Jar of the Dead. Another popular alternative is just to upgrade her ability straight down the line. Now in terms of a good build for Graves, just make sure that you split your weapon and spiritual damage evenly. I highly recommend experimenting with these different items to find out what works best for you and your own playstyle. Those following items are Arcane Surge, Echo Shard, Spiritual Overflow, Toxic Bullets, Heroic Aura, Mystic Vulnerability, Boundless Spirit, Mystic Shot, Restorative Locket, and of course Stamina Mastery. Graves isn't your traditional burst damage hero, but she instead relies on her undead army to control and overwhelm the battleground, and she assists when she can. She's a character who's best dictating where a fight can break out. Become the chaos of disruption not by diving into the enemy team, but instead stand back and establish yourself around objectives and choke points, filling the area with all kinds of ghouls and demons. If enemies don't want to fight, make it harder for them to even escape.
Great! I'm running around Manhattan with a severed lich hand. How did this become my life?
Graves doesn't have the best mobility and can take a while before she can start putting up numbers, but with enough time, space, and pressure to establish her little graveyard, you're not just fighting one hero anymore. You're fighting everyone that she's ever met. And that's just about there is to know about Deadlock's morbid teenage necromancer Graves. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more. Have a favorite hero you would like to see in a video? Feel free to leave them in the comment section below. This is Dead Unlocked, and from our house to yours, I will see you in the next video.
Do dead people dream?
I think so.
Why can't I talk to them?
You gotta listen.
But if I'm listening, I can't ask them questions like, what's your favorite color? And why does bread taste good? And do you think cats would smoke if they had thumbs?
Life's hard sometimes.
It is.